Ready.
Last time we looked into the Bible to see what it had to say as to who Jesus was. The assertion of the Bible is that Jesus was the eternal Son of God, the one through whom and for whom the universe was created. Now I would like to go into the book of John and see what Jesus had to say for himself as to who he was. In John 6:35, Jesus says, "I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst." The day before this, Jesus had fed 5,000 people from 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. The next day, the people were looking for him because they wanted more of this kind of miracle. The people were comparing Jesus with Moses, who had fed the people with manna. Instead, Jesus turned the discussion to the present day and declared to them who he was. He gave them a spiritual lesson rather than more bread. In John 8:12, Jesus spoke to the people and said, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life." Jesus had just then released the woman caught in adultery by telling those who had brought her to let the one who had no sin be the first one to throw a stone at her. None of them did. In John 10:7, Jesus said, "Most assuredly I say to you, I am the door of the sheep." Jesus was teaching the people about his relationship to the people of God, calling them sheep. He asserted that they would follow him because they would recognize his voice. He then followed this with the assertion in 10:11 saying, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep." This, of course, was a reference to his death and resurrection. In John 11:25, Jesus said, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die." The occasion for this pronouncement was the death of Lazarus, one of Jesus' special friends. Jesus spoke these words to Martha, the sister of Lazarus. Jesus knew that Lazarus was dead and that they had already buried him, but as he had already told his disciples, he had come to raise Lazarus back to life. These words of Jesus informed Martha that he could raise Lazarus back to life. They are also an instruction to us that life and death are in his hands. In John 14:6, Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." The occasion for the pronouncement was when Jesus was teaching his disciples about his coming departure to return to the Father who had sent him into the world. This is one of the more difficult messages to explain or understand. If he had said, "I know the way," or "I will show the way," we could grasp that. But to say, "I am the way," what does that mean? I think the answer lies in the experience the believers were to have in union with Jesus Christ in the new birth. The believers were to find the way of salvation in that union. The same can be said for the other two I ams in this paragraph. "I am the truth" and "I am the life" are to find meaning in that union, baptized into his death and born again to a new life in his resurrection. This explanation also gives meaning to the statement that no one comes to the Father except through me. In John 15:5, Jesus says, "I am the vine. You are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. For without me you can do nothing." Here again we find the teaching about union with Christ. Just as a branch or twig broken from a tree or vine will dry up and grow no more, so the believer who gets separated from Christ will wither spiritually and die. The life of the vine will flow into the branch only when the connection is maintained. Here then are the 7 statements Jesus made concerning his identity and his life. These 7 I ams show us the importance of Jesus Christ in the life of the believer and the impossibility of salvation in any other way.